I'm here at Krusty Burger for the launch of the highly anticipated Burger Squared. Krusty, what can you tell us about this fantastic new sandwich?
I'm glad you asked, Kent. We start with grade A beef, feed that to other cows, then kill them and serve the unholy results on a 7-grain bun. Burger Squared!
The math checks out.
Cows eating cows? That's an abomination.
No, Lisa, you're a vegetarian, but these cows have made a different choice.
And now this lucky reporter will be the first human to sample this delicious crime against nature. Juicy, flavorful, with just a hint of...
Hey, that's my check cashing arm, you stupid!
The Simpsons predicts the zombie apocalypse. Is it really a prediction? In The Simpsons, people change to zombies after consuming beef burgers. Cow eating cows is unnatural. If you notice, in The Simpsons, Lisa mentioned that cows eating cows is an abomination. So they're telling us that these vacca that they'll be feeding to us is an abomination. We know that beef comes from cow, vacca. Cow is associated with the idol Baal, which is also vacca. And what agreement does the temple have with idols? The word vaccine comes from the cowpox virus vaccinia, which derives from the Latin word vacca, which means cow. It's no coincidence that The Simpsons uses the eating of beef to start the zombie apocalypse. When you eat beef, you take it into your temple. In other words, when you take the vacca into your temple, it will change you into the image of the beast, into zombies. This is the time the tears are fully manifested. Let both grow together until the harvest. When the tares turn into zombies, in the likeness of the beast, it's time for the tares to be gathered together to burn. This is the time of total separation, when the harvest is ripe, the time when the tares are no longer in our likeness, and it's easy to identify the wheat from the tares.
Accused of mauling a senior citizen on a Max platform in Gresham was in court for the first time today. Gresham police say the suspect chewed off a man's ear and part of his face.
And that's where we start today here at 4 o'clock. Just about 30 minutes ago, we got some new details about this attack from the Multnomah County District Attorney's Office.
Mike Benner is outside the Justice Center for us. So, Mike, we're finding out that the suspect told police in an interview that he thought the victim was a robot trying to kill him.
Yeah, Brittany, that is Corn Kramer's explanation for this awful attack. Also, he is telling detectives that he was drunk and high at the time of the assault. And really, that's no surprise when you consider the allegations against him.
Please appoint PDC Calhoun.
With a deputy at his side, a visibly detached Corn Kramer faced a judge in a courtroom Wednesday afternoon. The 25-year-old is accused of an attack so horrendous, it's grabbing the attention of state lawmakers.
I was quite frankly in shock.
Ricky Ruiz represents a large portion of Gresham, where early Tuesday morning at a Max stop, Kramer is suspected of assaulting a 78-year-old man. Authorities say Kramer chewed off the man's ear and chewed off some of his flesh to the point his skull was visible.
Very concerning, really worrisome, and quite frankly terrifying. Just being able to see just this around my corner right by where I live.
The DA's office says Kramer told detectives he thought his victim was a robot trying to kill him. In fact, he thanked officers for separating him from the robot. Kramer also told police he consumed alcohol, cannabis, and fentanyl pills before the attack he has since pled not guilty to. According to court documents, Kramer told law enforcement that he was recently evicted from a house in the St. John's neighborhood. I spoke to the homeowner who says he did rent a room to Kramer, and he says when Kramer wasn't drinking or smoking marijuana, he was a pleasant, sweet person. But recently, he says something changed. Kramer started mumbling under his breath and damaging the home, and that's when the homeowner kicked him out. But before that sudden turn of events, Kramer told the homeowner he once attended Oberlin College in Ohio. That school's athletic website lists Kramer as a goalie on the men's soccer team in 2015 and 2016. Years later, Kramer would turn up in the Portland area and eventually a courtroom to face charges for viciously attacking a senior citizen on TriMet property.
You know, we have a warning about our next story. It involves an attack that sounds like it came right out of a zombie movie.
Yeah, a man chewed off another man's face, and police had to open fire many times before that attack stopped. Now, we warn you again, this story is disturbing. The description's graphic. Alex DePreto has the story and surveillance video from Miami.
And the guy was like tearing him to pieces with his mouth. So I told him, get off. You know, it's like, and the guy just kept eating the other guy away, like ripping his skin.
Larry Vega describes it as a scene out of a horror movie on the MacArthur Causeway exit as a naked man chewed off the face of another naked man. Vega went to flag down a Miami police officer.
Police officer came over, told him several times to get off, and the police officer climbed over the divider and got in front of him and said, get off. He told him several times, and the guy just stood his head up like that with a piece of flesh in his mouth and growled.
When the attack continued, Vega says the officer fired, but the man continued to chew flesh off the victim. The officer then fired several more times, killing the attacker. A Miami Herald surveillance camera caught the aftermath as the two men lay side by side on the ground.
It was just a blob of blood. You couldn't really see, like, it was just blood all over the place.
The victim was taken to Jackson Memorial Hospital with missing flesh, and according to a 7 News source, his face was not recognizable. Vega says both the men appeared to be homeless, and he believes the attacker may have been on drugs.
He looked like he was on something. You know, he was just, either he was really psychotic or he was on crack.
Miami police have not identified the attacker nor the victim, but Vega says he simply can't shake the image he'd expect to see on the big screen and never on the streets of Miami.
Pretty gruesome. It's one of the most gruesome things I've ever seen in my life in person. You know, you see these things in the movies.
Venha a nós o vosso reino, seja feita a vossa vontade, assim na terra como no céu. E com o nosso cada dia nos dai hoje. Perdoa as nossas ofensas, assim como nós perdoamos nossos pecadores. Não nos deixei cair em tentação, mas livrai do mal. Amém. Você não é poderoso. Você não é poderoso. Jesus, Deus está aqui. Deus é maior do que tudo. Você não é poderoso. Deus é maior. Jesus Cristo está aqui. Eu conheço a Bíblia melhor do que você. Você é corrupto. Sou corrupto. Vou te falar que você
Embate que eu vou estar na cozinha, eu tô aguardando.
Não desça o seu nível. Você é do mal.
Embate.
Você não é. Você
não sai. Isso.
Sai.
Qual o santo que tá aí? Qual o santo que tá aí? Fala aí. Lúcifer. Lúcifer? Isso. Tu tá incorporado com o santo, né? Tu tá incorporado com o santo. Quero ver se o santo vai estimular a tua vida isso.
Bate.
Quero ver.
Não te bater não, porque Deus é maior.
Meu cavalo estava inocente, estava trabalhando. Meu cavalo, eu trouxe meu cavalo até aqui.
Não quero.
Eu não vou fazer nada com vocês. Só não quero que encoste no meu cavalo.
Deus é maior.
Inocente.
Okay. Put your feet in. Ma'am, put your feet in so we can close the doors. He's gonna close the door. You stay right there before we move. Hey, calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Back up. Back up. Hold on. Hey, get your foot back in there. Get your foot back in there. Get your foot back in there. Ma'am. Ma'am, we're going to have to tase you. You're not going to like that. I don't understand what you're telling me. Put your feet back in there. Bro.
And one of the multitude answered and said, Master, I have brought unto thee my son, which hath a dumb spirit, and wheresoever he taketh him, he teareth him, and he foameth and gnasheth with his teeth, and pineth away. And I spake to thy disciples that they should cast him out, and they could not.
Hey, calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Back up. Back up. Back up.